Naoya Inoue, even at 32 years old, has silenced every whisper of decline in brutal fashion. After being dropped earlier this year and facing claims of burnout from a punishing 4-fight schedule, the monster entered Riyadh with everything to lose. A billion-yen Tokyo Dome showdown hung in the balance, and the world watched to see if the cracks in his armor would finally widen. This wasn't just a title defense, it was a statement. And Inoue just reminded the entire division why the king still reigns supreme. Standing across from him wasn't just some journeyman looking for a paycheck. David Picasso came into this ring with a perfect 32-0 record and a reputation that made him a genuine threat. At just 25 years old, the Mexican challenger was younger, taller, and carried a completely different kind of confidence. He isn't your typical brawler, he's literally a neuroscience student outside the ring.
As a fighter, when you see him making their mistakes, do you take confidence from that?
¿Te sientes tú un poquito más con más confianza cuando has visto que Noah ha cometido errores en las peleas anteriores contra adversarios? ¿Cómo te sientes? ¿Cómo te hace sentir eso?
Pues confiado, la verdad es que creo que Inoue, como cualquier ser humano, comete errores. Él es humano, muchos dicen que es un monstruo, para mí lo sigo viendo como una persona común como yo, y él también comete errores, eso me hace sentirme muy seguro y sé que voy a ganar.
When you've seen him fight so much this year, fighting 4 times in a year, do you think that you're catching him at the right time?
Cuando has visto que él ha peleado tanto, 4 veces al año, ¿crees que es el momento ahora mismo, es el momento adecuado para pelear contra él?
Cualquier momento hubiera sido adecuado, llevo mucho tiempo esperando esta pelea, así que para mí no importa todo eso, importa verlo en el ring y pelear contra él y ganar.
Picasso spent the weeks leading up to the fight claiming he had studied Inoue's movements like a science experiment. He told the media he had the blueprint to dismantle the Japanese superstar. He believed he could use his superior volume and intelligence to overwhelm Inoue, betting on the theory that the champion's reflexes were fading.
When you've seen him fight so much this year, fighting 4 times in a year, do you think that you're catching him at the right time?
Cuando has visto que él ha peleado tanto, 4 veces al año, ¿crees que es el momento ahora mismo, es el momento adecuado para pelear contra él?
Cualquier momento hubiera sido adecuado, llevo mucho tiempo esperando esta pelea, así que para mí no importa todo eso, importa verlo en el ring y pelear contra él y ganar.
It's a nice theory on paper, but as the old saying goes, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. And unfortunately for the neuroscience student, he was about to get a painful lesson in physical anatomy.
Alone, bro. That boy is a savage. That's what I say. And whoever's saying that, they got to get in the ring and do that against him. You know, obviously, everybody has a ceiling on how far they could go up. And he started out at 108. I look at his body structure. He don't look bigger than Pacquiao. Pacquiao's head was bigger. He was taller. His legs was bigger. So I don't know if Inoue could carry, much more weight. But, bro, that dude got fighting spirit. He don't get gun shy when he get hurt. See, I wish that people could just give. I'm not saying nothing about Shushu Carrington. Don't get me wrong, because he's a future opponent of Inoue, so he's supposed to look at him in a certain way. My statements is about just general statement. He's like, the boxing media is racist. I'm being honest with you. They just are. They say certain things about certain fighters and they never keep it objective. Inoue is a fantastic fighter. He's an offensive fighter. And offensive fighters get hit, especially when you walking into dudes that's naturally bigger than you and you dare to knock them out. He could fight the kind of fight where he just skate around the ring, score points and not get touched, but that's not his mentality. I say the same thing about Boots, and people think I'm taking up for him because he's black and he's from Philly. When you are a killer like that, when you are a killer of that magnitude, they're like mass murderers. They're trying to hurt you. So they got the athleticism and the skills of, say, a Haney or a Shakur, but their mentalities is different. And you wire how you wire. In a way, if you watch him fight, right, the whole time he's mean-spirited. He's sticking you with punches. He's trying to hurt you even though he's athletic and even though he's talented. So he gonna get hit. This is like, let's see, 108, 112, 115, 118. This is 5th weight class. Yeah, he gonna start getting hurt. But that shit don't make him gun shy. He don't act funny when he get hit.
From the opening bell, the idea of a slow start for Inoue was immediately thrown out the window. Usually, fighters feeling the fatigue of a 4-fight year will pace themselves, but Inoue came out looking sharper than he has in months. In the first 3 rounds, the difference in class was terrifying. Picasso tried to implement his game plan, throwing volume to the body and trying to overwhelm Inoue with activity, but he couldn't land anything clean. Inoue's jab was like a piston. It wasn't just keeping Picasso away, it was snapping his head back and stopping his momentum before he could even get started. By the 2nd round, Inoue was already unleashing fearsome combinations, shouldering Picasso backward and chopping down with right hands. You could see the confusion on the challenger's face. He was throwing punches, but Inoue was slipping them by millimeters and countering with devastating accuracy. The speed gap was undeniable. Picasso landed a few decent shots to the body, but for every touch he landed, he ate a monster right hand in return. The Cardenas scare from May looked like a distant memory. This was vintage monster.
I definitely got that one wrong, and Inoue, we know he's a quality fighter, but I have to give him props. Great performance, and definitely sits in that top 5 pound for pound.
As we moved into the middle rounds, the narrative shifted. Inoue realized that Picasso had a chin made of granite. Headshots were landing, but the Mexican wasn't wobbling. So, Inoue did what all grandmasters do. He changed the target. He stopped headhunting and became a surgeon, targeting the internal organs. This is where the fight turned from a competitive sporting event into something bordering on sadistic. Round 6 was the beginning of the end for Picasso's chances. Inoue unleashed a flurry of shots, but it was the stabbing left hook to the liver that changed the entire energy of the fight. You saw Picasso freeze. It's that delayed reaction where the brain tries to tell the body to move, but the legs refuse to listen. Picasso told his corner after the round that he was hurt badly downstairs. Inoue sensed it immediately. He started digging left uppercuts and chopping rights into the midsection, systematically draining the gas tank of the younger fighter. It wasn't a flash knockout. It was a slow, painful dismantling. By round 7, the fight had effectively ended as a contest and turned into a survival mission for David Picasso. This is the difference between fighting to win and fighting to survive. The motivation drained out of the challenger. He stopped pushing forward and started retreating to the ropes, which is the worst place to be when you're in there with Naoya Inoue. The Japanese superstar began boxing beautifully behind the jab, essentially using Picasso as a heavy bag. In round 8, the punch stats were humiliating. Inoue had outlanded him nearly 2-1 in power punches. Picasso was trying to move his head, trying to find an angle, but Inoue was timing every single movement. It was a quieter, darker phase of the fight. Inoue wasn't rushing for the kill. He was content to punish him. He was forcing Picasso to carry his power for every second of every round, landing clean rights and continuing to punish that bruised ribcage. It was a masterclass in control, showing that Inoue doesn't just need power to win, he has the technical IQ to embarrass undefeated fighters.
Not your night tonight, but what are your thoughts on your fight with Naoya Inoue?
No ha sido tu noche hoy, no ha podido ser, pero ¿qué piensas de la pelea? ¿Cómo ha sido la pelea para ti?
La verdad es que ha sido la pelea más dura de mi vida. No me siento derrotado, me siento muy contento, feliz. Yo sabía que iba a ser una pelea difícil, pero volveremos más fuertes, me voy a preparar todavía más fuerte. Creo que se vio que venía bien preparado y volveremos porque mi sueño de ser campeón mundial no acaba aquí. Vamos para adelante.
You have to give credit where it's due. David Picasso is absurdly tough. Most fighters would have looked for a way out after the body assault in the 6th round, but he stayed on his feet. In the championship rounds, rounds 10 through 12, Inoue went back to headhunting, looking for the highlight reel finish to cap off his historic year. He landed flush right hands over the top. He landed combinations that would have hospitalized 90% of the division, but Picasso just ate them. In the final round, knowing he was down on every single scorecard, Picasso actually tried to fire back. He landed a hard left hook that earned a nod of respect from the crowd, but it was too little, too late. Inoue responded with a final, crunching body shot and a pair of lefts that reminded everyone who the boss was. The fight ended with Picasso backed up against the ropes, surviving a final storm, but ultimately completely outclassed. When the scorecards were read, it was a formality, 120 to 108 across the board. A shutout. Naoya Inoue didn't lose a single round. For a man who was supposed to be tired, supposed to be human, and supposed to be slowing down, he looked absolutely untouchable. He silenced the critics who thought the Cardenas knockdown signaled the end of his prime. Instead, he completed a historic 4-fight campaign in 2025 with utter dominance. But he didn't dwell on the victory. The moment the fight was over, the focus shifted. The path is now clear for the mega fight the world has been waiting for. Inoue versus Junto Nakatani at the Tokyo Dome. The monster isn't done eating yet. He was just sharpening his teeth.
Now,
はい、今夜お互い無事に勝利できたということで、また来年大橋会長と、いろんな方向性含め、交渉していきたいと思います。
But what do you think of Inoue's performance? And can he defeat Junto Nakatani in what is going to be one of the biggest fights in Japanese boxing history? Do let us know in the comments.
Showed to me that he is maxed out. Maybe one more weight class, maybe. But against bigger guys, his power is just not going to translate. It's just not. It's not going to translate. He's explosive. He has a lot of power for them low weight classes. But when he gets in there with guys that can absorb his punch, like Picasso was absorbing his punches, he was hitting them in the body, combinations, teeing off on him. Inoue is athletic. He's explosive. But his power translates to those little guys. As he moves up in weight, going to 130, not happening. If he goes up to 130 pounds, he's going to lose. He can't deal with those punches. He can't deal. First of all, we've seen him on the canvas multiple times. Second of all, his power is not going to translate with those guys. They're going to absorb his punches. Now, what he does have going for him is his hand speed. He's still got that hand speed, and maybe that hand speed will translate. Maybe it'll slow him down. But it just showed me that he's going to always be a great fighter for those low weight classes. He's a super bantamweight champion. But 130 pounds, nah.
So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comment section. Stay tuned, and we will catch you in the next video.